I'm here with Speaker Melissa Mark Viverito to make what is really a historic announcement. New York City will close the Rikers Island jail facility. It will take many years. It will take many tough decisions along the way. But it will happen. Speaker Mark Viverito and I have reached an agreement on how to proceed, and we look forward to working together in the years to come to make this a reality.
Well, we discussed so much national news today. Bill O'Reilly was here moments ago, but this is the big local story. The cover of today's New York Post, if you haven't seen it, the Post says, quote, closing Rikers will make New York City less safe and put dangerous gang members and murder suspects on the streets. The city council must say no today. Jailbreak. It seems pretty obvious that the choice is no, but de Blasio's a moron. He's got some $9 billion plan. He wants to put jails in residential neighborhoods, in Brooklyn, in Manhattan, in Queens, everywhere but Staten Island, and close down this facility, which is on an island, which really keeps these criminals separated from everyday folks just trying to go to work and enjoy their daily lives. It makes no sense. And it was so heartwarming this morning to read this story in the Post and see a Democrat. This guy's a big deal, Bob Holden. He's been around many, many years representing District 30 for the city council, which includes Glendale and Maspeth and Middle Village and Ridgewood, Woodhaven and Woodside. Spent 25 years as the president of the Juniper Park Association, which is one of the more civically active associations here in New York. So this guy comes with a ton of credentials, and he's on our side. Keep Rikers open and keep these criminals out of our neighborhoods. With that said, here is Bob Holden. Good morning, Bob. How are you?
Good morning.
You come highly recommended by Eric Ulrich. He called me and said we need to bring you on. So that's a big deal.
He's a good friend of mine. He's a great guy.
He is. All right. So just give the reasoning. Bernie and I talked about it all morning long. It seems pretty obvious why closing Rikers would be a bad idea, but just give us your Monarch Note version.
Yeah. Well, the loony left, like de Blasio, says it's the certainly the symbol of mass incarceration, which is ridiculous. First of all, like a brick and mortar could be a symbol. And again, there's 420 acres on Rikers that you can house these individuals, or at least keep them apart from the general public. But again, they want to just close it as a kind of religious movement that they're pushing. It's ridiculous.
It is, and it's the criminal justice reformers, the mentality, the tendency among all of them, including judges, DAs. And just as politicians, AOC, Viverito, who championed a cop-killing terrorist at one point, we recall with the Puerto Rican Day Parade. Anyway, the tendency is to let criminals out on the street. And we know what happened in Brooklyn the other day. You had a guy who was given low bail by a state Supreme Court judge, Craig Walker, and he ends up raping a 12-year-old girl. And the same thing with Rikers Island. They want to lower the population and let these people out on the street while they await, trial.
Yeah, and where do they come up with? Now they want to do the community jails with, now they lowered it from 5,000, which was a target. Now they want to put 3,500. They think they could. Right now, there's over 8,000 at Rikers around that.
Right.
So by saying we're going to come up with a number years from now, 3,500 we think will be in the jail system. I mean, where's he getting that from? He might as well play the lottery because he knows obviously de Blasio can see into the future.
And he won't be here either. It's going to be 2026, so he's not going to have to deal with it when we won't have the space to put the criminals we need to put in jail.
Right, and again, this city is becoming unlivable, and we owe it all to de Blasio because again, with 2026, I hope he's far away. But the rest of us, what are we going to do with more criminals on the streets? Community jails, which they're all in congested areas, by the way, and all the community boards in those areas have said no to this. And but the elected officials, again, that are representing those districts, the mayor is sweetening the pot. He's giving them essentially bribes. Oh, we're going to fix up thing in your neighborhood, so vote yes on community jails, which is lunacy. Again, there are 420 acres at Rikers that they build jails next to jails and actually do a very modern facility there, put a mental health facility on the island. So many things you can do with that island. And yet they want to put these jails, these skyscraper jails, in the communities. It's ridiculous.
City Councilman Robert Holden here with Bernie and said, "Are they? Is the one for Queens supposed to be by Middle Village, by you or no?"
It's in Kew Gardens. It's right a few blocks away from my
Yeah,
district.
sure. I know it very well, of course.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. I think in the past, when Bill de Blasio does stop, or even his wife, for that matter, Charlene McRae, lots of times they do stop because they're pocketing, well, they're doing something that's corrupt. At the end of the day, this seems so nonsensical, right? Let's put more criminals on the street and let's put jails next to houses. And it doesn't seem to make any sense. What do you think is the motivating factor? What does Bill de Blasio have to gain by doing this? Maybe personally.
Well, again, it's like I said before. It's a religious movement. He wants to put this feather in his cap that he stopped this Rikers, this horrible place, this Rikers Island, which is a torture chamber, so to speak. This is what they do, and they exaggerate everything. But de Blasio's noted for just wishing things will happen. He just says, "Well, we're going to have." We'll eliminate homeless shelter hotels by the year 2023, and then the population keeps increasing. It's absurd. So he just tries to will something, just like Thrive NYC was going to address mental health issues, and instead it's wasted almost $1 billion. It's a joke.
What is Bob Holden, the Queens city councilman? What the hell, Bob, is going on with your party? I mean, the Democratic legislature up in Albany passing this no cash bail stuff, these discovery rules that are just going to screw up all trials, and the raise the age law. I mean, we just had I cited that 17-year-old kid. He's going to be treated as a juvenile, and he raped a 12-year-old girl, for God's sake. What is going on with your party?
And again, this is the thing. The most violent population at Rikers is the 17, 18-year-olds, and they ship them off the island. And now they have them in borough-based facilities, and they're still causing trouble there. And yet they won't do any punitive segregation for now it's 18 to 21-year-olds. We're the first city in the United States to do that. No punitive segregation, so you're free to do anything you please in there. Attack other detainees and attack correction officers. This is what's going on in the city of New York, and de Blasio is really destroying this city very quickly. We said he's going to destroy this city, eventually, but
it's
so fast, it's ridiculous.
And look, he is. He's the worst mayor of all time.
By far.
And he's the head of this. But as Bernie points out, there's other Democrat leaders who are in tow. And we don't expect you to come on here and start to just beat up your party. You're a successful Democrat. You've had a great career, and you're one of the more respected guys in our city. We get all that, Bob. But the truth is, it's not just de Blasio. Whether it's here in New York or across the country, your party has some people doing some really outrageous things. I mean, I know you know that. What do you think?
I know that. And listen, I'm like sort of a dying breed. I'm a conservative Democrat, believe it or not.
Right,
so,
right.
That's
Queens, by the way. That's what Queens is, right? Queens is conservative Democrats.
Right.
You're
exactly.
like a Jew in Tehran. Terrible.
That's funny.
Yeah.
So can you do something about this? Do you have any sway? Can you talk to some of these folks and drive some common sense into them?
I try, I try a lot, but it's the party has tipped way over to the socialist end and AOC, that movement, and again, I can't figure it out. I just hope that people will wake up one morning and say, enough's enough with these guys. Let's bring back the party more in a moderate sense. Really, it gets to the point where it's absurd. Every day there's something else coming down.
Something loony, really crazy, kooky. I mean, but let me ask you my last question: is there any? Sid talked about the motive for de Blasio to do this. Is there any real estate a motive behind it? Is he caving to real estate interests that want to develop Rikers Island to make some money?
Well, again, I think that's we talked about a land grab. I think that's part of it. It has to be. Why else would they do it? By the way, they could save at least $5 billion, if not more, if they renovated the island. So, what's the motive here? It's probably a land grab. Some people have said they want to, increase the length of the runway at certainly LaGuardia. That's been said by a number of people. I think Cuomo had said that as a possibility, and de Blasio may be thinking that. But they may develop the island. Who knows? But it's certainly, I think, a land grab. And that has to be. Otherwise, why would they waste all this money
Right.
Billions.
No, but, I mean, what better place to keep violent criminals than on an island where you can't swim off it because the waters will make you drown?
Yeah, by the way, how do you evacuate a skyscraper jail, let's say in downtown Manhattan, and let's say there's a fire? How do you evacuate that? Where do they go?
You're right.
Very
You're
good
right.
question, yeah.
So on the way out then, with all these questions being pretty obvious to the three of us, rational men, mind you, Bob, this meeting goes down today. I'm going to ask you to be a prognosticator, like a guy who does football games on Sunday mornings. Will the city council vote yes or no?
Yeah, the city council does not put out a vote unless they have the votes. Unless they're twisting the arms of members. They're going to them. We got to pass this. So you'll see. If there's no vote today, that means they didn't have enough. But they have enough votes.
So it's going to get done. So Rikers will be closed, not a matter of if, a matter of when.
Right. But I think so. I think that a future mayor, and that's what we have to look at in 2 years. We got to come up with a mayor, or at least try to elect a mayor that will bring common sense back to the city. And that's what I think we have to start working on. And maybe, again, a new mayor can say, I'm not doing this. We're not closing it.
Well, Queens City Councilman Bob Holden, thank God for people like you.
Yeah.
I mean, a Democrat with some sense.
Yeah.
We need more, obviously, but we'll take you in the meantime. So thank you for appearing on the Bernie and Sid show this morning on WABC.
Thank you. Keep spreading the word, guys. Thank you very much.
All right, Bob. Excellent job. Bob Holden, again, long history of success in District 30 in Queens, and, of course, the Juniper Park deal as well, a very, very active civic association here in New York City. One of our real refined and respected members locally here, politics in New York City.